I will be replaced by a new leader from a new generation who will do things better.
Клянусь, при осуществлении полномочий президента Российской Федерации
He began as a shadow in the KGB, a man few noticed. Today, Vladimir Putin is one of the most powerful and controversial leaders in the world. How did he rise from the streets of Leningrad to the Kremlin? And why does his story still shape global politics? Let's decode the biography of Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin was born on October 7, 1952, in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg. Raised in a modest Soviet family, he grew up in a city scarred by war. As a boy, he was fascinated by strength and discipline, practicing judo and sambo, sports that taught him control and resilience. In 1975, Putin joined the KGB, the Soviet Union's intelligence agency. For 16 years, he worked in counterintelligence, eventually stationed in East Germany. His career in espionage shaped his worldview: secrecy, loyalty, and the belief that power must be protected at all costs. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 was a turning point. Putin returned to St. Petersburg, working under Mayor Anatoly Sobchak. His efficiency and loyalty caught attention, and by the late 1990s, he was brought to Moscow. In 1999, Boris Yeltsin appointed him prime minister. Within months, Yeltsin resigned, and Putin became acting president of Russia. By 2000, Putin was officially elected president. His rise was meteoric, but his rule was defined by three pillars. First, restoring order. Putin promised to end the chaos of the 1990s. He centralized power, weakened political opposition, and reasserted state control over media and industries. For many Russians, this stability was welcome after years of turmoil. He cracked down on oligarchs who had grown powerful after the Soviet collapse, forcing them either into exile or into loyalty to the Kremlin. Television networks were brought under state influence, ensuring that Putin's image dominated the airwaves. He restructured the economy, using rising oil and gas revenues to rebuild infrastructure and pay off debts. Ordinary Russians saw wages rise and pensions restored, creating the perception that Putin had rescued the nation from collapse. By projecting himself as the savior of Russia's dignity, he won overwhelming support in his early years. This consolidation of power laid the foundation for his long rule. Second, military power. From the Second Chechen War to the invasion of Georgia in 2008, and later Ukraine in 2014 and 2022, Putin used military force to project strength. He positioned Russia as a global power willing to defy the West. In Chechnya, he crushed separatist movements with brutal efficiency, signaling that Russia would not tolerate internal rebellion. In Georgia, his intervention showed that Moscow still held influence over former Soviet states. The annexation of Crimea in 2014 marked a turning point, sparking global condemnation but boosting his popularity at home as a defender of Russian lands. His military modernization program poured billions into new weapons, tanks, and nuclear systems, aiming to restore Russia's status as a superpower. By 2022, the full-scale invasion of Ukraine revealed his willingness to gamble Russia's future on military dominance. For Putin, force was not just defense, it was a tool to rewrite the global order. Third, image and influence. Putin cultivated a strongman persona, riding horses shirtless, practicing martial arts, and presenting himself as the protector of Russian pride. This image resonated with citizens who longed for national greatness. But his rule also brought controversy. Critics accuse him of authoritarianism, corruption, and human rights abuses. His government has been linked to suppression of dissent, poisoning of opponents, and manipulation of elections. Internationally, sanctions and isolation followed Russia's aggressive policies. Yet Putin remained defiant. Despite challenges, Putin has held power for over 2 decades, serving as both president and prime minister. His longevity makes him one of the most dominant figures in modern history. From a KGB officer in East Germany to the Kremlin's supreme leader, Vladimir Putin's biography is not just the story of one man. It is the story of Russia's transformation. Loved by some, feared by others, his legacy is already written into the history of the 21st century.